Let's get the latest from our reporter Refiloe Seboko, who's been monitoring these developments for us. Refiloe, proceedings were meant to start over an hour ago, but that didn't happen. What's happening now?
Well, there's been a delay, Katleho. Proceedings were supposed to start about at 9:30 this morning for that voting process to begin. However, that has not been the case. But I'm joined by the NEC member, Maloyi from the ANC. We are going to find out how they feel, how happy are they about how things are unfolding. Mr. Kigaba, thank you so much for your time and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Thank you.
From the NEC side, with everything how it's been unfolding, how are you feeling?
We are quite happy about the progress we've made thus far. The very fact that conference started finally, there has been a vacuum of 4 years without leadership democratically elected in this province. And this weekend we are going to emerge with a democratically elected leadership. That's an outcome of a properly constituted provincial conference. The conference has been going well. The discussions have also gone well at plenary. We were able to adopt the credentials with a unanimous consensus by plenary. And so we now are in the process of running the elections processes. Obviously, we are tremendously behind schedule, which means that a number of decisions have to be taken about amending the program. We certainly will have to convene a provincial general council after this, so that this weekend we prioritize the elections, we adopt the declaration at the end of the conference, receive the reports from the outgoing IPC, which are now being presented by the NEC. Because the status of the IPC had to change as a result of the judgment of Friday. But the conference is going well. Delegates are engaging robustly. We're quite happy with that.
I can tell that some of the things that makes it to have delays in terms of the proceedings of the conference is issues of the back and forth court battles from other members within the ANC. Why is it that members opt to go and solve issues at the court and not internally within the party?
It's an issue that we need to address, because in many instances it's lack of faith in internal organizational processes, which are quite robust. But in other instances it's just impatience with internal organizational processes, trying to get an outcome from court processes that could have been obtained from internal processes. It's an abuse of the judicial system, because the ANC's organizational processes are quite robust. For one to become a delegate, it takes a very rigorous and robust process that is monitored right along the way, that goes through various stages of verification. So nobody just rocks up at the conference and claim they are a delegate without having gone through those processes. In a way, to be a delegate, you have to go through the eye of the needle, if we may use that example. So we have to deal with these issues politically, so that our members understand that there are processes established in the ANC. In some instances, you deal with people who have gone through those processes, are not happy with the outcomes, and then they seek court resort in order to get a favorable outcome. But we are quite happy that up until now, our processes have been found to be robust enough to enable the conference to proceed.
Can you confidently say that Northwest Province, we know that it's one of the provinces that is having challenges of unity and instability. Can you confidently say that it will be united after this conference?
Unity is not a mechanical process, and conferences do not of themselves establish unity. Usually you have to work for unity even harder after the conference has taken place. That is the responsibility of the newly elected leadership, embracing all the members and all delegates, all branches, all regions as being led by them, which means after the conference, they need to lead the organization, not their own factions. But it's also the responsibility of the branches accepting the newly elected leadership, regardless of whether they had voted for them or not. And we, on our part as the National Executive Committee, have to continue assisting the newly elected leadership because we understand the challenges that the province is facing. And for them to overcome those challenges, it will require collective effort. We don't think it's going to emerge miraculously out of concluding the conference, but we are prepared. We've been working very hard. Some of the issues that cause the divisions have to do with the governance processes, divisions among ANC caucuses at municipal levels, issues of access to resources. So it's not just necessarily issues which are organizational and political, but there are also issues of access to resources and matters of governance. We have to deal with all of those issues to ensure that the organization, regardless of ongoing challenges, because an organization which doesn't have internal contradictions is unable to make progress. But internal contradictions must not in themselves inhibit the progress. And so we need to continue to manage them, to deal with them, so that we are able to focus on the most important reason for the existence of the ANC, to serve the people of Northwest Province and deliver services to them, change their lives economically, socially, and in every other way through interventions of government and the work that the ANC as a political organization leading government is doing.
What is likely to happen? You did say that you are running way behind schedule. What is likely to happen now as the voting process hopefully will start soon?
We are awaiting the elections agency to come and call delegates to vote. So we expect delegates to come back in so that we outline how the voting process is going to take place. We will then start we are not going to disperse all delegates to go and vote. They will vote region by region. So what we will do, whilst regions are being called out to vote, we will be taking discussions which the NEC, reports which the NEC intends to present to plenary, the adoption of conference program and rules, the political report, the organizational report, the financial report emanating from the IPC that is handing over, and then we will, if time permits, go to commissions. But I don't think that will happen. I think after the discussion of the reports, the tabling of the reports, we will receive the outcome of the voting process, deal with the nominations for additional members, and take whatever discussions we can take, time permitting. The President is supposed to come in the afternoon to address conference. Hopefully by the time he comes, we will have covered much ground to enable the President's address to be the final address of conference after the address by the newly elected provincial chair. Then we will adjourn conference because delegates come from far and wide. They need to go back home. Many of them are working tomorrow. So we've had to do adjustments to the program to be as pragmatic as possible.
You are confirming to us that the President is indeed going to be closing the conference? The
President will be closing the conference today, so we are awaiting him.
Mr. Maloyi, thank you so much for your time. Katlego, that is the NEC member from the African National Congress, Maloyi. We are waiting for delegates, like he has said, that we are waiting for them to just get into the civic center, and that voting process will begin. And like he mentioned, that delegates will be voting per region. We'll keep you updated with the latest.
All right, thank you for that, Refiloe Seboko, who is our reporter out in Rustenburg. We do know that those delays have pushed the conference to some other days, but of course, like the NEC member, they're saying that they will have to convene a PGC in order for all other things to be able to be put in fold for the conference. But we do know that voting will get underway in just a bit.